Welcome, everyone, to our limited edition show, bringing two worlds together and launching Born to Shine and the Living Word in one place. I am your co-host, Genevieve Dowling, and next to me is my beautiful co-host and sister,
Josi Growin.
We are so grateful that we received a call from God, that it was time to share our voices in a new way, to welcome you into our inner world of healing, love, success, and the divine. Thank you for being here and riding the wave of authenticity. We may laugh, cry, we might even speak another language, and that's what being present and real is. Isn't that what the world needs more of anyways? Let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to our limited edition show, bringing two worlds into one place, launching the Born to Shine and the Living Word podcast in the same place. I am your co-host, Genevieve Dowling, and next to me is my beautiful sister and co-host,
Josi Growin.
And we are welcoming you into our inner world of healing, love, success, and our relationship with the divine. Now, in episode 1, we talked to you about choose people that choose you. And therefore, we had to invite a special guest onto this episode 3, which is, can you be spiritual and successful at the same time? And our special guest today is Jenny Tecklenburg. And she has been an inspiration for me in the world of physical well-being, in ascension, in breath work, in just being an incredible human. So Jenny, we are so excited to have you here.
Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you for having me.
How are you today?
I'm great. I'm extremely grateful to be here. So thank you for welcoming me onto this beautiful show that you two have created. And you know, I flip it right back to both of you. Like, both of you inspire me in so many ways. And I think it's so important to surround yourself with people that inspire you and elevate you. So both of you are that for me. So thank you.
I have goosebumps right now.
Me too.
I feel like we're another dimension and like creating that and like to be with inspirational woman, and then we can create that and then we can guide others to that it's possible, you know, yes, to be in the spiritual world, but also to be successful. And I think that like three of us here present, we're always looking to preach by example. And I'm so grateful that, yes, you choose us to come and we choose you to come on that show. And it's just going to inspire a lot of people. So thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
so grateful.
If you follow Josi and I on social media, you've definitely seen us doing breath work or workouts at Hamama Studio, which is a boutique studio in Playa del Carmen. And Jenny, I mean, every time I leave your class, I feel more open, more expansive, stronger. What a gift. And I know that that is your vision of creating balanced bodies. And you've 5,000 people you've trained already in this industry. Like, that stat is incredible. And you opened your business in 2020, which led you to opening a brick and mortar studio in Playa del Carmen in 2022. I mean, you're a Canadian woman opening a brick and mortar in Mexico. That is a big deal.
on Fifth Avenue.
Like,
Yes.
that's a big deal.
Wow. Congratulations on that.
Con huevos.
Con huevos.
Of course.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
All of your acclimates are really special, but we know, as we talked about in episode 1, there's a story behind the glory. Always. You don't just get to somewhere just by being your name on a certificate, by having accolades. You know, that isn't what makes you an incredible human and an incredible facilitator. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Yeah, we want to know the story behind, we want to know the crunchy details, because the woman that we see today that like now traveling the world, you know, expanding her business, but how did you get into that world?
Which world? The wellness world?
The wellness world, and to be successful with it also.
I think it started with my own journey. I think when anybody's really successful with something, it's like they've had to kind of hit the rock bottom and work their way up, and that makes them successful in that arena. So I was 210 pounds, 22 years old. I gained a lot of weight over a 3-year period where I just wasn't happy. And it takes that moment where you see yourself and you're like, oh my God, that's me. That's not me.
Wow.
And I remember saw me in a video. I was dancing. I joined a hip hop class. So I started moving my body again and it felt good. It felt good to sweat, to raise the dopamine. And I never worked out before or anything. And I was watching the video of me dancing and I saw this 210-pound girl shaking it. Like, I mean, I was
rocking it for sure. I can imagine.
But I also was like, whoa. Woo. That doesn't look like me. And I smacked my dad because I happened to be standing next to him. I said, Dad, why didn't you tell me I got so fat? And he's like, you're not fat, you're well proportioned. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like the way I look. I don't feel good. So then little by little, I started watching my fit friends. I started observing them. How do they behave? How do they eat? Who do they hang out with? What do they read? What do they listen to? Wow. How did just their everything. And I started copying it. Little by little, I started eating cleaner. Little by little, I started moving my body every day. And little by little, I started feeling better. And it took me about 3.5 years to get all the weight off. So that's 55 pounds, a little bit more in 3.5 years, but I successfully have kept it off.
Well, 3 years is good.
Yeah. Honestly. And it's healthy, right? It was little by little by little. And I really just challenged myself to move my body every day and to eat vegetables, eat a lot more vegetables than I was consuming before, and read women's health magazine and go on women's health blogs and sit a little taller, be a little prouder, take care of myself more. I just witnessed what my healthy, beautiful friends were doing and I mimicked it.
How did you feel when you lost that weight more than anything on your shoulders,
I think I felt lighter and I felt more confident.
Confidence.
Yeah, more confident. It came. Yeah, it came with the behavior, right? So little by little, I started cleaning up myself and then I started to love myself more because the things I was doing, the excessive wine drinking, the eating a lot, it was more emotional. It was pushing stuff down. And that was 16, 17 years ago now.
And how did you manage those emotions after that?
I've gone through waves of definitely going back to vices of wine and other things. And little by little, I mean, I'm 38 now, and I'd say my most recent up-leveling within the spiritual practice and breathwork practice has been my best yet. I mean, I love myself more than I've ever loved myself.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
You are so beautiful. You shine so much.
So
bright. Yeah. I've been seeing you I don't know Jenny that much lately, but we are attracted to know you more, Jenny. And I feel like I know you for a long time, but I want to get to know you more and more every time I see you because you are such a little jewel, that we want to be around, and because your energy, your guidance, your strength, your confidence, like you said. And so, yes.
Thank you.
No, it's truly.
I couldn't have said it better. It's so true. We were talking about this before. It's a magnetism. People have this magnetic being to them. And I didn't know that part of your story until today. And it actually clicks a lot of pieces together, the way I see you show up with so much empathy and patience for people in their process, because all of our process is different. And it's interesting because we talk a lot about people being disconnected from their body, not feeling sensation, not experiencing emotion. And that's something that it sounds like you had a very close encounter with. So do you feel now, what is changing that's bringing people back into their body? Why is it more important than ever, do you believe, that we come back into resonance with ourself?
Becoming a human being again and not a human doing. And I think that's a Rumi quote, but when I heard that, I was like,
Makes
bingo.
sense.
Of course, we're human beings. And yes, we have to create a certain abundance and it feels good to do. It feels good to be in alignment and to get things done. But at the end of the day, it has to be 50-50. I mean, doing and being needs to be 50-50. It has to be balanced. So I think right now, 2024, post-pandemic, yes, it was, 2.5, 3 years ago, but now people are like, oh my God, what have I been doing with my life? None of this is what I want. And it's action time.
In all the aspects, no?
All the aspects.
Health, wealth, happiness. And I
think there's more of a trend in that, in the holistic health department. People are like, I don't need 4 cars. I don't need this big house with 17 bedrooms. I mean, that's exaggerating, but you know what I mean?
No, it's so true.
Right? Let's go back to the basics. Like, we don't need things. We need to be happy. We need to feel connected. We need to be in love with ourselves. That's what we need. And then the other stuff just falls on your lap.
Correct.
How many emotions did you say? I remember you saying this in class. How many emotions?
27.
27 emotions. And how many do we often experience? Maybe 3, 5, 6?
We're allowed, but depending on what society you live in, we're allowed to feel, I don't know, 25% of those. But like, we're not allowed to feel anger. We shouldn't feel fear. Don't you dare cry in public.
Sadness.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, when I see someone cry now, I'm like, I take them into a private setting. I say, just let it go. Let it go. Close your eyes. Just let it go. Because we have to be in this consistent process of the moment we feel. Yes, sometimes we cannot feel it in the exact moment, but take that home with you and feel it. Go back to that moment where that person said, and you felt that trigger and you felt that in your body, and bring it up and feel it so that you're not stacking your suitcase with so much stuff.
I heard, sometime that, and I loved it. It was that when we cry, it's like the blood of our soul, so that our soul is alive. So cry more, my dear friend. That means that you are alive.
And it doesn't make you weak.
No.
It makes you strong. It's a release. My dad used to say there's salty tears and then there's those big tears that fall down your face. And those are angel tears.
Oh.
Those are a release. It's a purge, a detox. And so I love that you say that because it's true. And movement is one of the things that creates space in our body. And I can't wrap my head around it, and that's okay. But when there's stagnance in the life of your life in general, but you're not moving your body, therefore you are stagnant, everything is just going to keep accumulating. And, personal training, the wellness industry, I mean, we could talk about it all day, but it's really going from the place of being in Oxygen magazine model into being, I feel good. It's about feeling. So how did you create that in the physical fitness space? Because that is not the norm.
I mean, 17 years of experience of working with over 5,000 people. And doing my own research and taking multiple certifications, multiple courses, going to other people's classes, watching how other teachers navigate the room and the space. And what did I like about that class and what didn't I like about that class? But what my style is for the past few years has been really balancing the body in a physical aspect, but also an emotional aspect and using all 5 senses. I mean, when you come to a class with me, you're going to smell. You're going to feel, I'm probably going to put my hands on you at some point, and that creates trust, and you want to trust your teacher. And I want to trust you as my student. So let's create that trust. Visual, it's going to be pretty. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very aesthetically pleasing. Here, the music's going to be epic. And I try to feel my crowd. So sometimes you're going to get some 90s hip hop, and then sometimes you're going to get some really nice, woo-woo stuff.
Indies.
Indie music, right? So what are the 5 senses? We have hearing. Oh, and taste. Taste. I have very clean water at Hamama. And it comes out of this purified water filter that is filled with minerals. And I have cups there and everything. I like to be an all-inclusive studio. So you don't have to come with anything. No mat, no towel, no nothing. I have everything for you. Just show up.
What type of classes can we get at Hamama?
My specialty is body sculpt.
Okay.
And body sculpt is balancing the body. So we're doing a lot of posture realignment. We're working our core 360 degrees, glutes, super important, and always unilateral. Just use the right side. Just use the left side. Just use the side body. Just use the back. Just use the front. And I truly think that every human is a little bit unbalanced because we're always in the frontal plane, right? We're always in the frontal plane. So in my classes, you're going to expect to get a lot of pull. So that your shoulders are exactly.
We're like, bring it back, ladies.
Exactly.
Hamama means to open, So look at what we're doing right now, talking about it.
Yeah. Open the chest, strengthen the back.
You said something before that's very interesting. And this is a question for both of you because we're talking about spirituality and success. We're talking about the body and breathing and being open. You said a sensation, touch. And I feel that we've really lost the sensation of touch. We're either offending someone or we have to keep a certain distance. And I think touch is very important in the world of being human, but also being connected to each other. And Josi, I've witnessed you creating a culture in your business that you encourage hugging and trust and dance and movement. And so it really goes aligned with what we're talking about Hamama. Like, how has that changed the culture? And did you even do that over the last few years?
Oh, yes. And for us, it's like, every Monday meeting, for example, that we meet all again together. Well, it's a connection, and then we human need to, like you said, to feel the five senses, or there are more senses or whatever, just to feel. Yeah. And we lost that sense of feeling sometime in northern country because it's cold. It's very cold. Mm-hmm. But like human, when we touch each other, we can connect without talking, and for me, that's why I work a lot with animals, because we don't need that to talk too much. We just need to connect. And by hugging, by just looking at each other, just holding hands, this is little things like that, yes, we connect. And we're talking about the connection. On first episode, for example, to connect to ourselves and then to connect with others. So by feeling, by touching, yes, this is when you like, boom, your two souls or your three souls are connecting. And this is when we can get the result and also see where we're going with that, to our dreams, to our goals, and etc. So it definitely, for sure, some people, sometimes when they come, to the office, or like they're not used to that, they're like, hi, you give hugs, you give kiss, and yes, for sure, every day, exactly. Yes. To our whole team, to my assistant, to the director, to the sales team, etc. But yes, we hugs, and we need that, And I invite you, people who are listening, and just go hug 5 people, 5 person today, and how it's going to give you that dopamine of like happiness. And we're talking about health, wellness, and this is part of wellness.
The oxytocin is very real. It's a real hormone, and it gets extracted once you physically touch someone.
Can you share exactly more about that?
Yeah, 10 or 15 seconds. I mean, that's human connection. Just like you said, part of being a human being, we need to connect. And yes, it did get lost before the pandemic. And now, let's be honest, it's even more scarce because we were trained to keep a bubble, to not even pass each other in a supermarket alley. It's just crazy. And this is what I love about Mexico. And this is what I love about Latin culture, is it's so warm. And this warmth of the Latin culture is in me now. Mm-hmm. It's not going anywhere. I don't care if I go to a cold country, I'm bringing the warmth.
Yes.
Is that why you took your business from online virtual to having a brick and mortar?
I am a hybrid, but I needed a brick and mortar. I needed to set up shop. No matter where I go in the world, I set up shop. But usually I rent space from somebody else. And Hamama, I wanted a more professional background for my online students and clients. So I found this studio space, and then I was just kind of sitting there, your ideas start flowing. And I was like, I could do 5 TRX. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do 5 TRX things and make it, I'll just run a class once or twice a week. And then I was like, I kind of want to hire a yoga teacher. And then I was like, I kind of want to do some restore classes. I kind of want to, and it just evolved into becoming a full-on studio in Playa del Carmen. Like, it was not intended for that. It was intended for me and my space, my office.
I love it, because it's what we talked about earlier, Jen and I, and about when you do things for you, like when we start this podcast right now, that we love to share, we love to channel and to communicate with others. But more than anything, we decided to do that for us. And when you start doing things for you first, the results are amazing. And like this is when people are feeling, because you're not just doing it, you're being it, you're feeling it. And this is when.
Yes, this is the trick. This is the trick. And you either know exactly what we're talking about, or you have curiosity. Maybe you want to come and live a certain lifestyle, or you're like, and you turn this off now. Mm-hmm. But that is the trick of life.
Yes, to be successful. Yes. Let's go a little bit more into the spirituality now. That this episode is about, like, how we can be spiritual, but also being successful.
Right.
And how do you find that balance into spirituality, because a lot of people also, what we've been in the last years, let's say, like yoga was defined by spirituality, right? Like it's almost a sect or religion, Right. Now it's become more commercial. It's more become a sport and everything, but still, and here that we live in Mexico, that we live in land that like, it's very, very grounded. It's very with all the spirituality of the Mayan, and all the vibration, La Luces, Joe Dispenza that's coming here to do his conference because he know that the vibration are so high. So how do you find that balance into your life, but also into the business?
Mm-hmm. It's going to start with me,
Please.
right? So if I've gone about business in the other way where I am so focused on the business and I'm trying to find my niche and my avatar client and I've gone that route, it didn't work for me. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it didn't work for me. So when I started taking care of myself and unblocking myself from core wounds, so I'm talking shadow work, inner child work. When I started doing that, that's when everything started to flow for me. That's when I started to become successful, abundant with money. Opportunities were landing on my lap that I had wished for, prayed for, if you will, 2 years ago. And they just land on my lap because I'm taking care of myself. Instead of working 50-hour weeks, I'm working 25. And all of a sudden, things are just falling on my lap. And that is, spirituality to me is energetics. Energetics is the energy you put out, the energy you put in, the energy you feel. Listening to your pings is crucial. When your body says yes, do it. When your body says no, don't even let your brain step in. Nah. Body says no, it's a no. I don't care how much money I'm going to make. I don't care if the guy's really hot. I don't care if the woman's really successful. Nope. It's a no. I'm so sorry. That's a big piece. Yeah. Alignment is huge. And believing there's a bigger power.
So interesting when you talk about alignment and spirituality, because we've been in a society where we think spirituality means voodoo. Spirituality means living by a set of rules, being a certain way. And I think it goes back to what we said at the beginning. It actually means that we are feeling, that we are being, that we are allowing things that don't make sense to be accepted as the norm. And I know exactly what you said. I used to do everything by the book and I used to scale the business exactly like I was told. And you know what? It did work for me, but it worked for the business, not for me, because I had a massive breakdown, made huge money, massive breakdown.
Exactly.
And so to me, that wasn't success. To me, that was numbers on a paper. And so when I realized that I was not congruent with my business, I wasn't feeling into my business, I wasn't attracting people into my business, I was forcing people into my business, it was exhausting.
Endless, Endless burnout. Exactly.
Burnout, baby. And saying no is the most magnetic and powerful thing you can do.
Because saying no is saying yes to yourself.
Yes.
And it's worthiness. Spirituality is worthiness.
Yeah. It's self-deservingness and worthiness. And it's not being a narcissist. It's not being selfish. You're taking care of yourself. It's very important. And every time I say no to an opportunity that isn't feel a yes inside, something way more aligned literally shows up within a day.
You know, spirituality for me is like, I born like into a religion that I didn't decide, and then being changed into another one. And then, that a lot of spirituality, we think that it's a religion, also like what I've been taught when I was young. And then when I understood that spirituality was for me a connection to a higher supreme power that we have been created to create. And also you're talking about this connection, this intuition, that for me, this is the direct channeling with the higher supreme that is guiding me directly of like, yes. And then, but like most of the time, well, it's saying yes, but I'm no, I don't want to, I want to be a people pleaser. And this is, but when you start like following that intuition, all of the result, like you said, is coming to you as an easy way. And even people, I was this morning with a client downstairs and it was like, it felt so easy. I had the answer very fast. How come? I was like, well, it's just 15 years of preparation, but also of like, it's because we're not used to have it easy because we love to make it complicated sometimes. Yeah, no. And when you start like moving to that intuition and you let that intuition guiding you, it's come much more easier. And we're not meant to be stressed or to be rushing or to force things. No, but human like that. But when you start connecting more with your spirituality, with your intuition, that it's at the end of the day, it's this connection, the higher supreme that we're little ants in this world. We are part of a bigger, big universe that it's so, we're little small that we're just on a mission and following your mission, the rest come to you.
It's so true. And you said something that really like activated in me. And it's like,
I saw it.
I was very anti-religion for a long time. I grew up in a household and don't need to get into it, but I just didn't agree with the way there's a shadow to spirituality and religion that really disgusted me. And it was people saying a certain thing and then living something else. And that to me just really threw me off. And so what happened is I turned away from all of it. And then in business, what I thought is I wanted everyone to understand what I was experiencing, what I was going through. Like, don't you see how much work I'm doing? Don't you see what this? And it was always this feeling that I was alone. When I started opening my heart and I started understanding that there's a higher power, God, whatever it is to you, to me, it's God. And God filled my heart and I never felt alone anymore. And when you don't feel alone, you're willing to take risks to do things that seem scary. When you are not alone, you are not begging for the attention of other people. You're allowing your movement to be the front row, center stage. And I will say this, I couldn't understand a lot about religion and of Jesus. And then I realized that I can have a relationship with Jesus without having to be religious.
100%.
And when I realized that I can make my own rules and I could play by the things that aligned with me, everything started changing. Energetics started becoming more powerful. Law of attraction started to become more than just the book of the secret. And everything got bigger. And now the more I know, the more I feel, the less I know. And it's amazing. And you both have been a huge part of that journey of just blasting open and being like, I don't give a bleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too good to be true. No, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and when you start understanding that, you know, like, no, I want to live on that truth.
Yep.
And we've been talking a lot about following that light, following, you know, and then this is your light, you know, because yes, we're born to shine and like, and God, name it as you want, like you said, but like, we're born to make it happen in a happy way.
Yes.
Not to force it or like to be sad or like to be like, yeah, but you're going to have those feelings like we're talking at the beginning. But this is spirituality. Yeah. And if we bring back to Mexico and being a businesswoman, you know, what was your biggest challenge to be a woman in business in Mexico on Fifth Avenue? Like, please share one of the biggest challenge with the audience.
Trusting.
Trusting.
Things are different here. Getting jobs done are different here. The amount of patience that I have learned to have here in Mexico will forever stay with me.
Can we call you Buddha now?
Buddha. Juicy Jenny Buddha.
Maybe the next shop, you know, Hamama Buddha.
Yeah. Buddha. It's very about patience and just trusting it's going to get done. And we do not have control over it. You've set the intention, you've hired the staff. Let's see if it happens. And if it doesn't, you try it again. Yes. Patience.
That journey of Hamama was special because you have a documentary coming out.
Yes,
I
do.
Filmed a documentary. So the patience, I know that even you having to take control, to ask for help, to ask for things has been a big thing. But why make a documentary about Hamama? Because to me, you would only make a documentary if something's very special.
Hamama is special. And I'm not like, my studio is amazing. It's Hamama.
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
Hamama is amazing.
Special.
And yes, I was a part of that for sure. I was the initiator. I was the creator, if you will. But the people who come day after day after day is what makes Hamama amazing. And we have an amazing community that comes to body sculpt and comes to vinyasa yoga, comes to yin yoga, comes to restore yoga, comes to breath work. And that lights me up that we are a home, a second home for so many people here. And I feel it when they enter Hamama, that they just relax. And I'm home.
When will be out this documentary? How can people watch this?
It will be, I mean, perhaps we can put it on the below notes. However, it's not out yet.
No, exactly.
But it's in the middle of filming, and I cannot tell you how much fun it is to film. The filmmaker, Arturo, is incredible, and he's making a film. Like, it's a film documentary. So I'm very excited.
So then we'll share on our Instagram and social media about that for sure.
Yes.
Oh, that's so exciting. And how did you? What was the nicest moment when you were doing that? Like, what was the highlight that you felt
in the documentary?
In the documentary.
Well, Arturo wanted to do a little bit of like, who is Jenny? And I was like, no, this is about Hamama. He's like, yeah, but you started Hamama. I was like, okay.
Thank you, Arturo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not humble, but I'm also a huge understanding that like, I'm just part of the process,
Of course.
right? Like, yes, well done, Jenny. Good job. But I'm just a part of the process. So let's give everything the credit. Anyways, he's like, what do you do outside of Hamama? And I was like, well, I go running. I walk the beach, like with no cell phone, no earpods, no electronics. I just walk the beach, 3 times a week. I ride my bike. I do a lot of inner work. So I think my favorite moment was when I let him into my house for my inner work session. I do a lot of work on myself. I'd say I do 15 hours of work on myself with a platform that does guide me through inner child healing and shadow work. So I have a whole system of how I do it. I eat my lunch and then I read the journal prompts of whatever I'm going to be working on that day. I journal. And then I go into a DI, which is a hypnosis. And the hypnosis brings you to a particular moment in your life where you reprogram it and you rewrite how you felt in that moment. And typically it goes back to your childhood. And I've had to rewrite the same memory over and over again in order to unblock a limiting belief of I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm scared. I can't trust anybody. Like all these limiting beliefs that come up throughout the day, you get triggered, you judge. This is power.
Energetics.
Boom.
And I think you just said a word that I wanted to mention. I'm sure that everybody's listening right now feel this energy of Jenny.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I know that a lot of people are not here in Playa del Carmen or not here in Mexico, but would love to following you. Can they take some classes online?
Yes.
Can you share with us the website, please?
Yes. JennyTecklenburg.com. It's quite simple.
We'll have the link on the podcast for sure. And your social media, you're on TikTok, on Instagram.
Yes. So just go to JennyTecklenburg.com and everything is on there. It's like my online portfolio. So without going into like, this is because every name's a little bit different, but JennyTecklenburg.com. And I absolutely love working one-on-one with people. So you can take a look at the services that I offer. And my favorite thing right now is a 6-month transformation. You see me 3 times a week. We work with your energetics. We do breath work and we do movement. And for 6 months, you're stuck with me.
Everything's connected, baby.
Yeah. And it's just mind blowing what I'm seeing in my clients that are doing this with me. I'm like, yes, thank you for being open.
Woohoo.
You know?
Yes.
Wow.
So if you want to be successful and also spiritual, please connect with Jenny, connect with us. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey today. We hope you found inspiration, knowledge, and renew a sense of purpose through our conversation. Remember, my dear friends, that you are born to shine, and together we can create a ripple effect on positive change in the world. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on Spotify and follow us on YouTube. Stay connected with us on Instagram for the behind-the-scene content, update, and gossip, valuable insight. And if this podcast has brought value to your life, please drop a like, share it with your friends, family, and colleagues, and let's spread the love. Join us in 15 days as we welcome you and share together. Until then, keep shining your light, chasing your dreams, and embracing the magic that life has to offer. I'm Josi Growin, and my co-host sister,
Genevieve Dowling.
And this is the Born to Shine podcast and the living word in one place.